Shots fired! Don't move! Don't move! Line 12! Don't move!
That was the end of a really horrific scene that happened where DC police, as you'll find, jumped into the car, this stolen vehicle, where a 17-year-old was sleeping, and they were suspecting that he had stolen the car. Now look, the car is in the side of a house. No word if anyone was in that house or on the front porch where that car crashed into. We're going to talk about how they got to the point where they ended up crashing this car into the side of a house. Let's look at this first part where the cops surrounded the vehicle. They recognized that it was potentially a stolen vehicle, and their plans of how they're going to pull off this whole thing was beginning. Watch.
The only other idea I can think of, so the back window is broken clearly. Just cut out that plastic.
Well, I was gonna break. Depending on what they decide, we're thinking just breaking the front, yanking them in.
Yeah, but to begin more quietly, like just cut it out, open that door carefully, and then just try to pull them as soon as possible.
Who wants to be? You want to be hands guy?
Well, my other question is, have we looked to see if it's in drive or park? And is it still running? Is it still running? Okay. Because I saw it running earlier, but then I didn't see the
No, it's running. It's in park. I mean, it's just a stolen, but we'll try to get it that way. If he takes off,
Yeah.
so be it. But at least
Either one's an interesting story.
yeah. And then my camera's low, so get up in there.
Yeah, it's camera.
Back, so.
You already left order.
These guys plotted, they planned, they strategized, they assessed. I think what, Emily, 37 minutes? 37 minutes they were deciding whether or not they're going to, what exactly they would do. And you know what solutions they never came up with? Blocking the car in. They noticed that it was running, noticed it wasn't in park, looked around, noticed that the guy was sleeping in the car. Did they block the car in so if it takes off, they have some way to keep him from leaving? Did they put any kind of a deterrent on the car itself or block it? Tire, what those strips in the road that blow out tires? Anything? Did they do any of that in preparation for 37 minutes? Because people point out things that they maybe could have done, folks that aren't in police work that I think maybe could have worked, but instead this is what happened.
Police! Don't move! Don't move! Don't move! Don't move! Don't move! Don't move! Stop! Get up! Get out! Get on me! Stop! Stop, man! Just let me out! Let me out! Stop! Stop or I'll shoot! Stop! Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired! Don't move! Don't move! Line 12!
There's a pretty good reason why he's not moving the way you're commanding him to not move. He's listening. It was 17-year-old Dalaneo Martin was the suspect in that car that he then shot in the back. I was trying to count out 2 seconds after he said, "Stop or I'll shoot." What he should have said was, "I'm about to shoot you," because that's honestly what he was saying. This whole thing is blowing up. Everyone's talking about it. It's now under federal investigation. But the police union guy, the head of the police union, decided to defend the officer's actions, which, by the way, in case you guys didn't tell exactly what happened, they were surrounding the car. One cop jumped in the back seat and tried to grab on him a little bit, and the car took off. And then that's when he felt he needed to unload on him. The head of the Park Police Union, Kenneth Spencer, defended the officer who shot Martin, telling the Washington Post there's a lawful reason for him to be in the car. The use of force was justified, and the union stands behind the actions that the officer took. Of course they do, but they'll stand behind it because, hey, this guy was a suspect. He potentially stole this car. So once you're in a stolen vehicle, as one of the cops in the front at the first video said, it's just a stolen, saying it's just a stolen car. Things that I assume happen all the time. But then when it comes to shooting someone in the back 4 to 5 times, it's something that's justified because you dove in the car. And that was the plan. I wonder if they have a standard for this, Jackson.
Well, I mean, the way they set it up was basically to create provocation because, as you pointed out, all they really needed to do was pull up the car on the side, especially since it was parallel parked, is just pull up a police car up in the front so he couldn't pull off, and then just knocked on the window and, seeing if he was okay or anything along those lines. That would have simplified this situation a great deal. But the way they handled it, he put himself in danger by allowing him an escape route. So this whole thing was handled extremely poorly that pretty much anybody could have done better. And it's scary to think about, too, because a lot of people spend time maybe when they don't have a home or they're couch surfing or something like that where they sleep in cars somewhere. And, so stuff like this, you just never know. And it's not necessarily safe to sleep in cars anyway for a variety of reasons. But, even if that car was stolen, like he did, that situation just plain and simply didn't need to happen.
And anyone who wants to be like, well, he shouldn't have done it, then he won't die. There's plenty of folks who've stolen cars that aren't killed by police for the sake of stealing the car. But, once you find yourself in a situation like that and cops are then afraid because of the situation that they find themselves in from a shoddy work, then they can go ahead and unload. That's the solution to all problems, all mistakes. Instead going, damn, maybe I shouldn't be in this situation. And turn it to, here's an opportunity. Well, this fight's going to continue, and I'm sure we'll find the same folks on the same sides of it.